So I finally bought the Lenovo Legion Go 2 with the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme chip, which is the same chip in the Xbox ROG Ally X, but I had a lot of mixed feelings. On one hand, I was super excited for this massive 8.8-inch OLED with VRR and HDR, but on the other hand, it was expensive and I already had the Claw 8 and the Xbox Ally X. But the main reason I did not get this when it first came out was because I already had the GPD Win 5 on pre-order, which comes with the AI Max 395 processor, which has double the performance of the Z2 Extreme, but the 7-inch on the GPD Win 5 really was too small for this handheld. So I finally decided to get the Lenovo Legion Go 2 with this amazing 8.8-inch OLED. It has the latest Z2 Extreme processor, a fingerprint reader, and a 74 watt-hour battery capacity. In the box, you get the Lenovo Legion Go 2, which comes inside the case, the charger, and some paperwork. Inside the charger box, you also get this for the FPS mode, one cover for the controller when you're using it in FPS mode. I also bought the Legion Go charging connector for the controllers, which I'll show you guys in a bit. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 also comes with this really nice case that Lenovo provides with the console, and this case, although it's not super hard, it's good enough. It also has a pocket here in case you want to put your cables in, and also has a few pockets here for some extra accessories. So overall, a very nice, cool looking case for the Legion Go 2. You can very easily put the Legion Go 2 inside of the case. It's not too big or bulky and provides you with enough protection to very safely put this in your backpack. Here's a side-by-side with the Steam Deck OLED case. The software on the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is much better than before, however, it's not the best. So if you click this button on the top right here, you get this overlay, and in this overlay, in the first tab, you can change your TDP. You can also change your fan speed and your power mode. In the second tab, you can change your brightness, your volume, your resolution, your refresh rate, and also enable or disable the frame rate monitor. You can change your controller settings here, and you get access to a lot of different shortcuts. And by pressing the top left button here, you get the Legion space, and in the Legion space you can access all of your games and add more games or apps if you want. You also have a store with lots of different games and lots of different offers. Obviously not as good as Steam Store, however it's quite good actually. You can also go to controller settings, Legion Store to buy some hardware on your profile. So overall, the software on the Legion Go 2 is not the best, but it's not the worst. It's good enough. On the Lenovo Legion Go 2, at the top, as you guys can see, you only get one port, and that's this USB-C Type 4. And at the bottom, you get another USB-C Type 4, a micro SD slot, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, both of the USB-C Type 4s on the Legion Go support Power Delivery 3.0 and DisplayPort 2.0, so you can basically connect your HDMI cable and also your external graphics card. The design and ergonomics on the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is much better than I expected, because this is an 8.8-inch screen, so I was expecting it to be much heavier and bulkier in the hand. But as soon as I held this in my hand, I was quite surprised at how light it felt. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but to be honest with you, this feels just as light as the Switch 2. Now I know the Switch 2 is like almost half the weight, but the problem with the Switch 2 is because there's no grip and it's flat and most of the weight is in the middle. When you hold the Switch 2, it feels heavier than it should. And with the Lenovo Legion Go, it's the opposite. When you hold it in your hands, it feels lighter than it should. In terms of the grip, the sides on the controllers here are smooth, much smoother than on the original Lenovo Legion Go, so they do feel a lot more comfortable. I've got bigger hands, so I never really had any problems with the first Lenovo Legion Go, but this is much more comfortable. In terms of the material, it's a matte finish, which is great because it's not going to be a fingerprint magnet. The joysticks are Hall effect, and they are an improvement over the original Lenovo Legion Go because they have slightly more resistance, and I think they might even be a little bit bigger, so you know, it gives you more range of motion, which is great for first-person shooters. The D-pad is one of the best I've used because it's very responsive, and the way it's designed, it makes it easy to pull off moves. For example, in Street Fighter, the ABXY buttons are one of the best. They're not very loud like on the Xbox Ally X, which I really like, because on the Xbox Ally X the buttons are way too loud, and at night time they can get quite annoying to press. So these ones are really nice, and I also really like the way they've added the A, B, X and Y inside of the button. It looks really nice and premium. It is a bit thicker than I thought. The back looks really nice. Overall, it's all a matte finish, so there's no fingerprints anywhere. You also get a really nice kickstand, which I really like on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. So overall, very good design and ergonomics on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 controllers can be removed by pressing this button on the back here, and the same one on the left controller. But with this one, I find that you have to go like this because it's not that easy as compared to the first one. So once you have the controllers removed, what you can do is you can use the Lenovo Legion Go with the controllers detached. So as you guys can see, now I can control everything, and it also comes with this connector for the controller for the FPS mode. So what you can do is you can get the right controller, put it in here, and now make sure that you are in FPS mode. Then you can use this as a mouse, and you can also attach this to the metal part here. So now you have a mouse, and this will control the movement. So let me go ahead and launch Half-Life so I can show you guys a bit of gameplay. So as you can see now, I am controlling the game with the right controller acting as the mouse, and this left controller can move the character around. And with this controller, you've got two buttons at the back here. So one of them will act as a jump, and the other one will act as crawl. The top one will act as the trigger, so I can shoot. You can also adjust the sensitivity of the mouse with this button over here. So overall, the controllers on the Lenovo Legion Go work fantastically attached and detached. You can also get the Legion Go charging connector with battery for the controllers, and in the box you get the connector, a charging cable and the manuals. And the way it works is you basically just attach both sides of the controller to this connector, which also charges the controllers, and once it's attached, basically it turns into a proper controller. In case you want to sit back in the sofa and connect the Legion Go 2 to your television, you know, this is a great option for that. So as you guys can see, I can just pretty much use it as a controller without having to use a separate controller. So a really nice option to have for the Legion Go 2. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 comes with this 8.8-inch OLED with HDR and VRR and up to 1100 nits of brightness. Currently you are watching the video with the HDR turned off. I will go ahead and turn the HDR on to see if there is, you know, much of a difference. I have now turned HDR on the Lenovo Legion Go 2, and I also have HDR on my 7-inch OnePlus 15. Both of them are at the maximum brightness. Now one thing I can see is that it's very bright and looks even maybe a little bit brighter than the OnePlus 15, which is amazing because on this AMOLED HDR you get around 1800 nits of brightness. So the fact that it's coming even close to 1800 nits is amazing. I can see the high dynamic range working very effectively on the Legion Go 2. So overall the HDR is working once it's calibrated, and it is quite bright at 1100 nits. The viewing angles, obviously this is OLED, very good. The colors, even at extreme viewing angles, are really nice. So overall, a really nice big screen on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. By default, the Legion Go 2 comes with HDR off, so I will quickly show you how to turn it on. So go into your system settings and then click on display, and brightness have to be turned down to exactly 43%, and then click on this arrow. Make sure that change brightness automatically is off and that change brightness based on content is also off. Then go ahead and turn HDR on, then click on HDR, and then in here go down to where it says HDR display calibration. This will download an app, so once it's downloaded, go ahead and open it and basically click on get started and just follow the instructions. So for the first one, it says slide the slider down here until it's completely dark, then click on next. In this one, slide the slider until it's completely white. So now it's completely white. I will click on next. In this one, slide it until the gray boxes disappear completely. So now they have disappeared, and I'll click on next. Finally is the saturation. I like to have my colors natural, so I will leave it at the default. You can, however, increase saturation. Click on next, and then it will show you the before and after. Now for you, this will be a big difference because your one is not calibrated. Since I already calibrated it, the before and after looks almost the same. And that's basically it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. This is one of the hardest areas in the game. So in this village, the FPS always drops in most handhelds that I use. On the Switch 2 we get 30 FPS. On the Steam Deck OLED also around 20 to 30 FPS. But on the Lenovo Legion Go 2, as you guys can see, running in the balance mode. So in balance mode at around 16 watts, surprisingly good performance, getting over 40 FPS. So now we are in performance mode, and the TDP has gone up from 16 to about 20 watts, and now it's using about 31 watts total. The FPS has gone up from about 40 FPS to almost 60 FPS, which is great. Now let's see how it performs in this area. It's looking very nice actually. The performance is better than I expected on the Z2 Extreme chip. So if I go to custom, I will bump up the TDP to 29 watts. And I will move the SPPT and FPP2 to more than 29 watts, and let's see how it performs now. So it looks like we are getting over 50 FPS, and the TDP is about 34 watts being used, with the total TDP 46, about 46 total TDP, and the performance is similar to performance mode. So not a massive difference between custom and performance mode. Running older games such as Half-Life on the Lenovo Legion Go 2, I mean, the Z2 Extreme chip can easily handle these games. However, one thing I noticed while playing Half-Life on the Legion Go 2 was that, first of all, for some reason, it doesn't look as smooth as playing on the Steam Deck OLED. And on the other hand, the battery life was half of what I was getting on the Steam Deck OLED. So here I am running Half-Life on the Legion Go 2, and I'm using 800p, same as the Steam Deck OLED, basically the exact same place and the exact same settings on both. I'm running the game in quiet mode, getting 100 FPS, so the performance is not an issue, but as I move the camera around, I can see that there is a bit of stutters, and I'm not really sure why that is, because it doesn't matter what TDP you run this game at, there's going to be stutters. So I'm not sure if the VRR is not working or what the problem is. Another thing is that at 73% I'm only getting 3.9 hours of battery life. So now let's compare the same game in the exact same place on the Steam Deck OLED. The game is so much smoother on the Steam Deck OLED, it's buttery smooth. And also the battery life at 33% I'm getting 2.5 hours. 33% 2.5 hours, so basically times that by 3 at 100%, you will get 7.5 hours of battery life on the Steam Deck OLED, and the Legion Go to 73%, 3.8, so you are getting around maybe 5 hours. So 5 hours on the Legion Go 2, even though the Legion Go 2 has a bigger battery. Final Fantasy 16 is one of the hardest to run games I have ever played, and as you can see on the Legion Go 2 with the Z2 Extreme chip, running in balance mode using 16 watts is giving us really good performance. I mean, I am getting around 60 FPS in this hard to run area in the game. Facing the castle, I am averaging around 60 and sometimes even over 60 FPS. Is absolutely amazing. Now let's see what happens if I bump up the TDP into performance mode. The TDP is going up to around 20 watts with the battery using about 30 watts in total, and the performance is much better now. So it's going from around 60 to over 70 FPS on average, even going into around 80 and even over 90 FPS. Now let me bump up the TDP into custom mode using the maximum TDP of 35 watts. At 35 watts, I am averaging over 80 FPS, and I don't recommend to go over 25 watts in this game. Even performance mode is more than good enough. I am now running the Myth Wukong benchmark tool. The Legion Go 2 is getting around 56 FPS. So the benchmark is finished. And by the way, this is using the balance mode on the Legion Go 2, using 16 watts on the Legion Go 2. We got an average FPS of 54 FPS. So now I have bumped up the TDP to 20 watts using the performance mode on the Legion Go 2. And as you guys can see, I'm getting around 60 FPS in performance mode and even going over 60 FPS. So in performance mode, as you guys can see, I got an average of 59 FPS on the Legion Go 2. You don't even need frame generation because you can run it at around 60 FPS in performance mode. At 35 watts on the Legion Go 2, I am getting around 68 FPS, 69 FPS on the Legion Go 2. So it looks like we are getting much better performance than performance mode. So the benchmark is done on the Legion Go 2 in custom mode with 35 watts. We got a slight increase in the average FPS going from 59 on performance mode to 63 in custom mode. Resident Evil 4 the remake running on the Legion Go 2 at 16 watts, so balance mode on the Legion Go 2, and we get around 77 FPS. So the performance is very nice. This game is actually playable on balance mode on the Z2 Extreme chip. So standing in this spot, I can see I'm getting around 73 FPS. So in performance mode, I am getting almost 80 FPS. So Resident Evil 4 is performing more than good enough on the Legion Go 2. Pragmata is a very well optimized game from Capcom, and on the Legion Go 2, running in balance mode at 16 watts, I am getting almost 100 FPS. So a very optimized game on the Legion Go 2. In performance mode, using about 20 watts, I am getting over 90 FPS. So this game is more than playable on the Legion Go 2. Capcom has done an amazing job optimizing this game, and this game even runs on the Switch 2 at around 50 to 60 FPS. The thermals and the fan noise on the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is not as good as I expected. So I'm currently running the Legion Go 2, as you guys can see by the blue ring, on the quiet performance mode. It's using about 13.5 watts total, and the TDP is at around 8 TDP. The temperature I'm getting is around 50 degrees Celsius, so the temperature is not bad at the quiet mode. So at the quiet mode, the fans are almost inaudible, you can't really hear it. So now it's running in balance mode, and the TDP is going to jump to around 16 watts and around 25 watts total TDP. So in balance mode, I'll give it a few seconds to adjust, and the temperature is increasing to around 51.5 degrees Celsius. So very nice. And now it's gone to around 52. So not very loud at all in balance mode. So now I will go ahead and put the Legion Go in performance mode, and at the performance mode the game will bump up the TDP to 20 watts with a total TDP of around 30 watts. So as you guys can see, the temperature has reached around 57 degrees Celsius in performance mode, which is great. So the fans are actually not so loud in performance mode, but the problem I have is when I put it in custom mode, they do get very loud. So now I have put it in custom mode, and I will bump up the TDP to around 27 watts. Now let's see what happens to the temperature and the fan noise. I can definitely hear the fan noise from the distance I'm sitting at. Now the temperature is going over 60 degrees, and it looks like it's going around 61.3 degrees Celsius. So the fans are much louder than performance mode, and it's one of the things I really hate. There is a software where you can manually control the fan noise. I'll put the link in the description below for you guys to check it out. It's called Lego 2 Fan Control. The Legion Go 2 comes with the 74 watt-hour battery capacity, and if I put the quiet performance mode on, as you guys can see, it's currently running at 8 watts TDP, with the total battery being used is 14.6 watts. So 74 divided by 14.4 gives us around 5 hours of battery life. So at the quiet mode you get 5 hours of battery life. If I put it in balance mode, in balance mode the TDP goes up to around 16 watts, and the battery uses a total of around 25 to 26 watts. So 74 divided by 26 gives you 2.8 hours of battery life. So in balance mode you get almost 3 hours of battery life. If I put it in performance mode, the TDP goes up to around 20 watts, and the total battery that's used is around 30.5 watts. So 74 divided by 30 is going to give you over 2 hours of battery life. So in performance mode you get over 2 hours of battery life on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. You can put it in custom mode and take the TDP to the max 35 watts. And at the max 35 watts, the TDP that is used is around 39 and the total power used is around 52 watts. So 74 divided by 52 gives you around almost 1.5 hours of battery life. So even at the maximum power on the Lenovo Legion Go 2, you get around 1.5 hours of battery life. So anywhere from around 5 hours to 1.5 hours of battery life on the Lenovo Legion Go 2. What I like on the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is the screen. This is a massive 8.8-inch OLED with HDR and VRR, and it goes up to 1100 nits, so a very nice screen on the Legion Go 2. I also really like the build quality. I like the matte finish. It's not going to be a fingerprint magnet. And also I like the D-pads, the joysticks, the buttons, the triggers. Everything is really nice on the Lenovo Legion Go 2, and the fact that you get a really nice kickstand is also a nice bonus to have. Another thing I like about the Legion Go 2 is the performance. The Z2 Extreme chip is one of the best performing chips in the market right now in a handheld, so definitely one of the best performing handhelds you can get currently. What I hate about the Legion Go 2 is the price, especially after the price increase due to the RAM shortage and the AI, because this was already quite expensive at £1,100 when it was first launched by Lenovo, and now the price has gone up to around £1,800, which I think is way too much for a handheld with the Z2 Extreme chip. I mean, for that amount of money you can even get the OneXPlayer Apex with the AI Max 395 processor, which is double the performance of the Z2 Extreme, plus it has a 8-inch screen. So I don't recommend it when it comes to the price. However, if you can find for cheaper and you really like the 8.8-inch OLED screen, then in that case it may be worth it. Another thing I really hate about the Lenovo Legion Go are the speakers. Now, for a handheld that costs £1,800, the speakers should be much better than this, so a very big disappointment when it comes to the speakers. Overall, I'll give the Lenovo Legion Go 2 with the Z2 Extreme chip a 9 out of 10. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the Lenovo Legion Go 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.